Thank you guys for coming. When I did the workshop for the first time last year, had an amazing time. The crowd grew twice as much. When Álvaro asked me to take part again in this year's workshop, thank you. Thank you. I found every reason to say no. School, obligations, etc. But I could not say no to Álvaro. Where are you, man? Here. I can't say no to you, man. I can't say no to you. I mean, you heard his introduction. This workshop, finds a way to make us, happy in one of the simplest ways possible, which is to put our lives on paper. My dream today, 588 days left. It's midnight and I'm kicking off my next 24 hours with little sips of black coffee, followed by big nervous swigs. On my laptop screen is a spreadsheet with 12 deadlines this week. In the dazed trance before the caffeine incinerates my nerve endings, my eyes escape the glossy screen I can no longer make sense of, and veer off to the large corkboard above the foot of my bed. My eyes fixate on a letter pinned to the margin with a red thumbtack. My scribble on its front reads, September 7th, 2015 to September 6th, 2017. The lines printed inside echo in my mind. This notice is to inform me regarding Citizenship and Immigration Services decision on your form, consideration of deferred action for childhood arrivals. Unless terminated, this decision to defer removal will remain in effect for 2 years from the date of this notice. DACA. I renew this permit every 2 years. I pay $495, redo my prints, and in return, I get a little bendy green card so I can work to go to school, to work some more. My days are numbered from the moment they lick the envelope and stick my notice of deferred deportation in the mail. It gives me 2 years to breathe, and it's the reason I'm up every single night working on chasing the next deadline after the other. Submit an application here, there, and everywhere. Before it runs out, I need to graduate college first and prepare for the worst. Doing all of this for nothing. My phone is basically non-existent at this hour. No new notifications, just the ones I haven't gotten to from the day before. My parents are sleeping in the other room, so I don't have to feel bad about shutting the door to be alone. Reading over the email that I just drafted to my old boss, I'm wondering if you'll be happy to hear from me. Dear Dave, you told me to be the premium brand of cereal, not to discount it, not go off on the bottom of the aisle. So why'd you want me to decline the job Goldman offered? Do you remember when I told you about the interview? You literally convinced me I was like Rocky, and that interview was my fight with Apollo Creed. And nobody who gets a chance to shoot for the moon. I prepared every single minute that led up to the interview, and I outdid all the Ivy kids in the lobby. The recruiter called me with the good news on a Friday during lunch. I dialed my mom and dad back so fast, I accidentally called back the recruiter, who I learned didn't speak Spanish. My parents didn't even know what Goldman Sachs was. Goldman Sachs. They offered me the most money I ever saw. I would have made in 4 months what I make in a year. And you're right, it wasn't front office, but at least I got my foot in the door at 19. But you were right. I had to turn it down. If I took the job and deferred school, I probably wouldn't have graduated within a year or two. It might have meant I'd lose my permit to stay before graduating. I'm grateful for your advice back then. You pushed me to try harder, especially if it meant making a big boy decision. I have 1 year until I graduate and 1 year to work at a corporate gig so I can save enough to build a raft in case the ship sinks. I try to make every day count. I hope you're well. Let's grab lunch soon. Best, O. I programmed the email to casually bump into Dave tomorrow at lunchtime. When I get up to pee, I finally notice the hour. It's 3:27 a.m. If I power down now, I can still get up at 8. 4 hours of sleep now with naps sprinkled around my day. It's all I need to function. In what feels like an uninterrupted moment, I find myself in an open white space, people by the dozens, just lounging, minding themselves, Confused, I start to walk around and I notice my Aunt Maria sitting in the distance, patiently waiting for me. She gazes at me while I approach her as I dive deep into her arms and cry. She doesn't say a single word. My eyes snap open. It's 10:18 a.m. The gasps wake me up. Fuck, I'm late. I have a 10:30 meeting that's an hour away. My friends and I are pitching a business plan to a panel of judges in a few days. My cheek was sore from rubbing against a soaked pillowcase, but I catapulted from the bed and into the icy shower. Didn't wait for the water to warm up. While shampooing and jittering from the adrenaline, I recalled the dream that began and ended so suddenly. No time to think, just grind. I throw in the first shit I grab, tip a hot cup of joe down my throat, sprint out the fucking door, but not before kissing my mom and Pop Dukes goodbye. It's 10:33 a.m., and I text my team, sorry, I'm not making it. I get to the train station right as the downtown train is approaching the platform. I am fiending for a seat, and I see someone getting ready to get off. I squeeze my wide shoulders into a small orange seat between two strap hangers. I'm not getting up unless it's for a pregnant lady with triplets or an old timer with 2 canes. With wary eyes, I glance at my phone, but I anxiously stuff it down my pocket when I see the treadmill of new notifications. I'm dozing off in a train stuffed with people, but first, I throw my hoodie on and wrap my laptop bag around my foot. Every once in a while, I open my eyes and there's a new pair of shoes and legs in front of me. The trains are delayed, but while everyone's pissed, I'm guilty of being thankful for it. I get off on 23rd Street and head to class, stopping by the bagel-shaped man for an old-fashioned donut before reaching class with 5 minutes left. I just have to wait for the menade of students to stand so I can sign the attendance sheet in front. I leave my bag and jacket outside so it looks like I just came back from the bathroom, and I slip my way to the back row while pretending to dry my hands on my hoodie in case the professor takes a look at me. By 4 o'clock, I sponged up enough managerial accounting and integral calculus to make me a vegetable. I've got 20 minutes before a call about a summer job, so I hit the bodega and eat in 10. I head to a quiet spot to prep quickly for this phone interview. It's a certain new phone interview this week, and it's only Tuesday. The first call is always about telling the HR recruiter everything she wants to hear. Yes, well, I am passionate about a career in your industry. The team seems like a perfect fit. Great. The pleasure is all mine. I hang up the phone and pull my hoodie over my head. My brain needs to reboot before my next class. Before I fall asleep, I try to make sense of why my dead aunt showed up in my dreams earlier. Maybe it was because she wanted to forgive me, or maybe it was because she wanted me to forgive myself. She died slowly to disease, and so far away. My parents couldn't leave New York to go see her in Veracruz, Mexico. If they did, that's a one-way trip. Being so far away, what else could they do besides send money? Is this what it's like to grow old in an island, cast away from all your loved ones? Why are we even here? Just to place all of our bets on me? Once home, it's 9 p.m., and no one's home from work yet. I'm not even really home. I've still got work to do. I heat up a cup of this morning's rancid coffee and basically inhale it. The jolt hits me while I finish brewing a new pot. I sit down in my room, and the letter is right where I left it, pinned to the wall where it'll grill me as soon as I doze off, and the first thing when I wake up. I plug into my workstation and wait for midnight to come. Maybe tomorrow will give me some space to breathe. Thank you.